Hey everybody, what's up? My name is Mackenzie.
And I'm Jonathan.
We are husband and wife, and we'd like to welcome you to TerreDice.
And today we're taking a look at Rock Hard, 1977. It's designed by Jackie Fox, who is the bass player for The Runaways.
Yes, this is an ultra-thematic game where we will be making our way and trying to become rock stars. The most successful rock star is the winner. So if you're ready to rock hard and keep on playing, then just keep watching.
Alrighty, so we are transported back to 1977. You are a rock star, but not yet, sort of. You're an aspiring rock star. You have a day job, well, maybe a night job. Maybe you're a trucker. Maybe you are a massage therapist. But you have a job that you have to do at some point in the day. And this is a worker placement game where you're going to be taking your rock star and you're going to go from morning to day to night. And we're all going to go through these phases, placing our person somewhere on the board. Now, this could be go to an interview on the radio. It could be go to a studio to go like practice. It could be go record a demo tape or maybe a record label, or maybe I'm gonna actually go like do my job like I'm supposed to, because if you don't do your job, then you have to skip work. And if you skip work 3 times, you get fired. And then you become a rock star, which is either a good thing or a bad thing, depending on how early it happens in the game.
You become a full-time rock star.
Yeah, so I mean, that's basically the game, but it is all about basically being a rock star and all the things required to get there. You go from the smallest venue in town, maybe the Goldberg Bar Mitzvah, and then you make your way up to the Carter Stadium where you perform for thousands.
Yes. So, as a rock star, and this is the 70s, and what do rock stars do as well as play music? They like to party. So the last phase of this game, because this is broken up into 3 sections, morning, afternoon, evening, and nighttime, into the night, and then I guess early morning as well, you have the option to go to parties where different things are going to happen. Or if you want to go first in the next section, you go to bed early. Or maybe you are a worker and you are actually going to go record a demo. But most of the time you're going to be going to parties. And at these parties, you might have the option to get some candy. Now, this candy will allow you to do some interesting things during the game, as well as probably get some extra actions. But first you'll have to draw a card or maybe roll a die to see if this is actually sugar-free candy or if you got the real stuff. The
real deal.
Yeah.
Maybe you might even get hard candy, which I think I've got some of those. Oh yeah, hard candy, plus 2 actions on your turn. So yeah, basically like you're gonna use those at some sort of pace to give you what you need. However, your craving will go up, and as your craving goes up, which by the way is on this amazing little like amplifier board, so I have these knobs that actually turn with like the resistance of a real amp. And once your craving is high enough that you were to roll a die with a lower number, you have a sugar crash and you've got to recover all morning. So a lot of like really fun thematic, like very, makes you feel grimy. Makes you feel 70s.
That is the overview. Now I want to dive into the nitty-gritty of the game, because where this game shines is through that theme, as you've seen us talk about throughout this so far. I think one of the most interesting things is at the beginning of the game, you will be assigned a character that you will be playing, and you will get to know some of their backstory. So they will teach you about what some of their life experiences before this, which actually has nothing to do with the game. It just lets you feel like you're actually this rock star.
Yeah, I mean, there is a little bit of a set collection with certain icons that you get.
True.
Like if you like, romance or popularity or certain things,
they will help you in that way. And then you're going to get your job. Now, I think this is so interesting in the game when you were saying that you have to make this big decision. Do you go to your job to get money? Or do you actually want to do long-term and go do the stuff that you need necessary to fulfill your dreams? And there comes this time partway through the game where you have to decide, do I have enough money that I can actually make it as a rock star?
And let's talk about the money for a second, because when was the last time you played a game with paper money? Now, actually kind of love this money. It feels great. It looks great. It has really funny little like, people write on them, call me. There's a phone number. There's lipstick on this one. But you get all these fun little like peace symbols and things that just like, scream to you coffee stains, but it feels like very 70s and some of the stuff that they put on them, very rock star. I don't know. I just feel like it actually really adds quite a lot to the game.
I know the first time you pulled out the game, you're like, paper money, what? Because in board games, it has the stereotype that that's Monopoly. But in this game, it really works. And you couldn't have done like gold coins or stuff like that because this is the American rock scene.
It's good.
So you got to have those dollar bills.
It's good.
Now, what was your favorite part of the game?
My favorite part of the game, one is the pacing. So it is a really quick game in terms of like you go morning, afternoon, night. There's no frills, no you just kind of go, and you get to do your stuff. You get to go perform at the Rockstar, stadium. Now, I think the thing that was interesting though is there's still quite a lot of replayability. We have these events that happen each round. We have these end game goals that happen each time. You have your job, you have your manager, which give you different abilities, plus your like character who may have abilities. You also have like these random gigs that appear each time. So this one is a campus lunch concert. Pop quiz, Rockstar. What's talented and original and can't get enough of what's sweet? You say? You say? A+. So there's all these like random, gigs that we're going to do. Some of them have like really funny consequences. If you do the bar mitzvah I mentioned earlier, you actually lose popularity. So I was having to like make up for that reputation later.
Yeah, very funny in theme. And speaking of replayability, those parties that you can go to, it's kind of like you don't know what's going to happen at the party. So let's do this one. You run into someone who can totally hook you up with that candy. And so then some things will happen there.
Yeah.
What's that one say?
I'm not going to read that one.
Oh, no, it's not appropriate. Well, you picked the romance one. The owner of the bar tells you drinks are on the house tonight. What? So then you'll get different things like that. Sometimes bad things happen too.
Yeah. It's a good time.
So, pausing. All right.
What? Why?
No. So who is this game for? We were talking about this earlier. I would say this is a Gateway Plus game. So it is definitely not going to be your like base level game because this is a worker placement. But I would say this is getting into some mechanics that are really great. They're going to help you graduate to those more advanced games. But
some tight resources.
Yeah.
It's hard to get your hands on money, for instance.
Yes. And there's lots of choices, which I think also would make it a Gateway Plus. There's lots of things you can do each turn, and that complicated aspect of like how do you choose what is going to be the best for you. And I would recommend this game at more than 2 players. I think it is a 3+ game for the amount of players it is. With the 2-player, we both felt it was a little too open. Like I was
even with there's like a cube that moves through numbered spaces to like block spaces.
Yeah.
Didn't think that was
it is a 2-sided board. So you get to play the 2 to 3 sides on one side and then you flip it over and then it's the higher player count. But I would recommend it at 3+.
You get to see more of the fun stories too and more of the funny cards and things.
Yeah. And I like that like aspect of competing for spaces more so. And I think the game lends itself, some of the mechanics and managers lend themselves more to the 3+.
Yeah. I would also say, like, obviously, you've got the whole hard candy theme. You've got the backstage romance cards that I wasn't going to read on camera. It is obviously a little bit more of an adult theme, a little bit more of a grimy, dirty 70s scene. So if you're, like, down to, like, role play it and play that game and enjoy that, that's great. But if that scene upsets you for any reason or is triggering, or if you're playing with young children, might not be the game for you. Honestly, this game is themed to the fault. So it's like everything's going to be centered around that theme.
It does not apologize for being 70s.
Yeah, you gotta like eat that candy if you want to win. And also like to that point, I would say like similar to our own game Bark Avenue, which we considered every single mechanic like had to be tied to the theme. It means that some things like aren't quite as intuitive or like are harder. It's like, okay, I got to think about when I can do candy and then I can't like do my job after I do candy twice, so you gotta like think about these things in a way that sometimes is like a little bit more to think about. But yeah. I
would say where theme comes in as well, and might be to a fault, is I would say it felt very balanced throughout it, but there is the debate on, I would think, your job, because your job will either take place in the morning, the evening, or the night. Some of those, depending on when your job is, it benefits you more if you have like an evening job, I would say, or a night job. Getting that morning job is harder, and you just have to think a little more about that. So there's more of like a little bit of a balance, like negotiating there. But I would say if you yourself lived through the 70s, or if your parents lived through the 70s, I would think they would love this game. Yeah. Like if you were around during this time, then I think you'd get a big kick out of it. But I wasn't, and I also loved it.
Yeah, still enjoyed it. A lot of fun. Gives you like the art gives you like very like Guitar Hero vibes, which I enjoy too. As like someone who lived vicariously through the 70s through Guitar Hero.
Yes, that's true. Yes. So let's talk about the designer, because I think that's one of the coolest things about this game is that it was actually designed by Jackie Fox, which he said in the opening from The Runaways. And it's really cool to see that people like branching out into different sections. She did retire after The Runaways after that, so she went on to like have a whole separate life away from this scene, but I love her being able to revisit this and getting to make board games. So that is our overview and review of Rock Hard 1977. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you know whenever we put out a new video. And thank you so much to Devere for letting us review this game and to be able to share it with all of you. And we'll see you next time.
Happy playing!